Can you type that on the yeah? Yeah. So those who are coming in, welcome to our free webinar. Ayan, good afternoon to Miss Ariola from Lipa Quality Control Center. Ayan. From Miss Rosalette, no? Yan, from our, I think you're a regular. Ayan, thank you. From Iris, hello. Yan, from the RDFP Livestock and Food Foods Incorporated. Thank you very much. How about the rest? And welcome po. Thank you for making time for our webinar today. And I hope you stay up until we end at 6:30. So we made it 30 minutes longer than our usual kasi from the feedback of our audience, our followers, and those who have been attending, nabibitin sila sa 1 hour. No? So we've stretched it a little bit. Actually, hindi kasama itong few minutes before we start. No? So it's going to be ending at around 6:30. So I hope you stay up until the end kasi nandun po yung meet yung Q&A natin. Again, welcome to those coming in. I see some very familiar names, no? For those who are inside, I think you're meron na tayong 10, I think, no? Not counting us 3. No? From which company or industry are you in your current position? If you're from HR, if you're non-HR, and also for those who are attending our program for the first time, you can type in at 1, but just so we can welcome you and we can identify. Ayan, I see our new client. Hello, Miss Maruth. If you can hear me, thank you for joining us today. Oh, by the way, Kong Hai Fat Choy, so happy Chinese New Year. Nataon na na-schedule namin. No? So I do hope that you're not on, well, after nito, pwede na siguro kayo ituloy niyo yung inyong holiday. Ayan. For those who just came in, would you mind sharing your company and if you're from, and which department you are working at, if you're from HR, if you're from the operations, or maybe from which industry you're working for. And again, welcome to those joining us for the first time. Later on, okay, I will be sharing more information about Talent Reach, especially what you can expect for 2025. We have lined up a good spread of topics, no? Some are new and some that we're rerunning, and meron kaming ibabalik na program na hopefully it's going to be as successful when we run it the first 6 times. Yan. And welcome to those who are just coming in. So hopefully we get a good attendance today. No? So we had over 100 registrations, and normally we get about 30 to 40% of those who sign up actually join us. So welcome. Thank you for joining our free webinar. We will be starting at exactly 5 p.m. so that we're able to manage our time in the presentation and also have enough time for the Q&A. Welcome to everyone. Again, I'm just to those who just came in, ayan, welcome po, and I hope it's okay if you share which company you're from and which department, or if you want to share your position, that would also appreciate that. We saw from the registration that there's a lot from HR, but there are also from operation and non-HR department. Yeah. So I actually saw the presentation and napaka-meeting nga. And there's a lot of I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot that you will be able to take away. So for those who have availed of the the handout or the exact presentation, no, you will be receiving that 3 business days. So the latest that you should get that is by, let me just check the calendar, February 3. But I'll try if it can be available to you on by Friday. Ayan. Hello, Seth. Thank you for sharing. You're from CHRE. Oh, okay. Ayan. Good luck, Seth. I do hope that yan, good results when you take the boards. Ayan. This is a very good, I hope that this is a good opportunity for you to pick up some good topics, no, and learnings. Welcome. So we're now at 20 plus in the room. Ayan. Welcome, Ruth, from GMA Cavite, your student. Ayan. Yeah. Thank you for joining. For those who are here, can you type one if this is your first time? And just a quick check. Ilan po ang ating mga bagong participants? Oh, marami. Okay. Yan. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. All right. Thank you very much. Ayan. So in just a short while, I'm going to be sharing my screen so that I can give you, so for the benefit of those joining us for the first time, and also I'll be sharing what you can expect from Talent Reach for 2025. And hey, I think we're about ready to give you more on what you can expect from Talent Reach. By the way, before I do that, po-promote ko na din, no? So you can follow it. I invite you to follow our Facebook page. We also have a YouTube channel. Just search for Talent Reach. Yeah, and we also have a website that's www.talentreachconsulting.com. And we're also on LinkedIn. So yun yung mga official pages namin. We're still trying to learn the platform of TikTok. Very soon hopefully we get to also share more materials, no? But you can find all our videos and all of our insights and some materials that we share mostly on our Facebook page and also the videos on our YouTube channel. So please do follow us. You can also subscribe so that whenever we post the replays of our webinars, you can watch it at your convenience. Sometimes they prefer to watch it on YouTube. Yeah. Again, welcome to everyone who's joining us for the first time. So I'm seeing a mix of students now and also from the HR, of course, majority from the HR department. And okay, so I think I'm just about ready to share my screen. Ayan, okay. See, let me just share my screen. Okay, that's all right. Okay, so we have a lot, quite a number of new joiners for our webinar today, let me introduce to you who we are. Talent Reach was founded and established in 2015. We have been a trusted HR training and management consultancy, and we empower organizations to our strategic people solutions. So we specialize in designing and delivering customized training programs, so such as leadership development, performance management, and also HR consulting services. We've been partnering with different companies across industries and enhance their workforce capabilities by optimizing their HR processes, help them cultivate a high performance culture. So we develop leadership training, employee engagement initiatives, and job evaluation and organizational development. Ayan. So let me share with you our core services. So, since our managing director is a full-time consultant, so we offer these consultancy services: HR administration, performance management, job evaluation, designing pay and salary structure. This is one of the major projects that we always get inquired about yung compensation consulting services namin. So most of our clients usually um, uh, hire us for this particular, or collaborate with us when it comes to their compensation. Ayan. And these are also our official email addresses. So that's info.talentreachph.org. And if you want to directly reach our consultant, you can email him at arthur@talentreachph.org. Ayan. So, ayan, screenshot niyo na to. Or if you're not following yet our Facebook page, maganda i-follow niyo din kami. But these are the dates wherein we're going to be having our free webinars. So we'll be having, of course, today, and then on Feb 26, role of emotional intelligence in change management. And then on March 13, top 10 HR metrics every company should track. Ayan. So I'm going to be sharing with you for the first and second quarter. So abangan niyo yung last quarter, third and fourth. Yeah. So April 3, we're having ayan, yung understanding turnover, retention, engagement. May naman would be 3 key areas in the modern HR. And on June, managing a remote and hybrid workforce. And of course, we're very proud that we've been conducting also mga workshops and webinars. So this is what you can expect, no? Workshops we do online as well as face-to-face. So we're going to be introducing a new program, which is a two-part series, Mastering Talent Acquisition Strategies. And this is also new: writing effective job description and profiling. We're bringing back HR skills workshop, and we're going to be having two runs of our job evaluation and designing pay structure. And also the HR, ito yung pinaka premium namin, no, the HR Compass Masterclass. And also a new program, salary structure analysis and budgeting. So ayan po yung information namin. So if you're interested to know more about these programs, send us an email and we'll share with you the program outline, the schedule, and also the learning investment. Ayan. Okay, ito naman po yung aming mga in-house programs, because we also provide companies with in-house trainings, no? So again, you can do a screenshot of the training program. Sa pinakamadami po that we run last year was a basic supervisory program, even the people management. Ayan. So marami po yan. So okay, ito pa yung mga ibang in-house training programs. And also, we do customization. So if you would like to combine certain topics, we can design that based on your training needs. And of course, HR programs. All right. Okay. Our consultant and also the managing director of Talent Reach also wrote a book. So ito po, maganda po to if you have some, especially for mga business owners, mga startup companies. No, this is an ultimate guide for HR professionals and business owners. We already sold out the copy of the book, but it's available on as an ebook. So it's only for 350. Mag-email lang po kayo sa amin if you are interested to get the ebook copy, and then we'll give you instructions on how you can download. Yeah. And again, here are the email addresses where you can reach us. Okay. All right. So and I do hope that you follow us on Facebook, and makasama namin kayo for the rest of the year in the program. So if you're interested again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. So to introduce our trainer for today, or sorry, our speaker for today rather, I've prepared a short video. Oh, I think do we still have time? Gusto ko lang magbigay ng tribute, no, sa aming mga naging accomplishment, sa aming mga clients actually, um, for the for the for the webinars and even the workshops that we've conducted, the new partnerships that we've created for 2024. So allow us to play the highlights, talent reach highlights for 2024. right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And also to introduce our speaker for today, the founder and managing director of Talent Reach, Mr. Ronnie Turla, certified organizational and development professional and a certified human resource professional.
Hi, good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to this first offering of Talent Reach for 2025. We're happy that you're here today. No? Incidentally, it's also the scheduled Chinese New Year. But then again, we will be together for the next hour or so. No, so for your interaction and hopefully, this will be a good learning event for you, which we have, been offering since 2020. So it's been 6 years since we've been conducting itong mga free learning webinars. No, at least every month. No, we get to be able to offer. We try our best to be able to offer our free webinars. At the same time, we also offer paid webinars where we provide learning for the HR professionals, and not just HR professionals, but also people in the business organizations. So for today, we have prepared a topic that hopefully will inspire you, especially if you're in the field of HR for this year, for 2025. What are the principles and practices that we have to remember so that we can have a winning 2025. So sabi nga nila, we all want to win in life. No? And for this year, we would want to have a successful 2025. No? So can you give me a thumbs up sign if that's you that who wants to really have a good 2025? Sige nga, tingnan natin. Ayan. Okay, thank you. So every one of us is very hopeful and optimistic for the upcoming year. Ayan. Okay, so without further ado, let me now present my uh, webinar presentation for today. And of course, after the presentation, we will be accommodating questions, comments, or insights. So I would want you to interact and give your comments. So feel free to give your questions and comments, and we'll try to accommodate them after the presentation. And let's have a discussion about it. So we'd like to hear from you. And of course, if there are questions, we'd like to answer some of the questions presented. Okay, so let me now pull up yung aking deck for my presentation. So, so again, we choose to talk about this particular topic very timely because it's the start of the year. It's January, almost end of January 2025. And we're all hoping, and we're trying to look for, good signs for the year. Yeah. Okay. So for today's webinar, my first question is, what are you expecting for 2025? So if you have some expectations, try to put them in the chat box. Okay. But again, just to set the tone, we hope that this year we will make it the year of HR as a trailblazer. So I like the word trailblazer, because I think for a lot of us, we would want to start the year, on a good footing. And when I say trailblazer, people who are trailblazers are people who start their own path. And they don't just try to go to the traditional route or traditional path. But they try to create meaningful programs, meaningful activities, for their employees, especially in the context of HR. We would want to be a trailblazer. So yeah, so that's why this particular webinar is not just informational, but hopefully will inspire us on what to expect for 2025. Yeah. So again, just like this girl in this picture, we would want to say it was a good 2025. Dapat pag end of the year, December of 2025, dapat ganito yung ating mood, sabi nga natin. We are all saying that we had a good run of 2025, no? Yeah. So tatandaan natin itong picture na to that we should win, no, for 2025. Okay. So what do I have in store for you? Here are the webinar agenda. So very simple lang, no? There are things that I will be discussing, the nine principles of how to win in HR for 2025. Some of these things, no, are things that it might be familiar to you for some, because I saw that there are some students here. So some might be unfamiliar, but hopefully this will be a good chance for you to refresh your memory about what HR is, no? So we're going to talk about some practices and trends. Some of this, again, we've discussed in previous webinars, no, because for the past, again, years, we've been running webinars about HR for the longest time. In my case, no, if I remember it right, no, I've been a speaker for HR for what, about 15 years already, no? So I've seen the development of HR, particularly in the Philippines. So that's why I'm very happy because the practice of HR is totally different from 10 years or more ago, no? So it has totally shifted and has totally changed. Ayan. So that's why, as your expert speaker today, I hope that I'll be able to share with you, no, some nuggets of insights and wisdom about what are some principles that we have to remember. Okay, so let me start with the first principle that I wanted to discuss. Okay, so the first principle that I wanted to discuss talks about having people first, no, the principle of people first and business aligned. Okay, a lot of times in HR or in a company, there's always a what they call a paradox, no? Am I going to focus on the business goal, or am I going to take care of people? No, there's always a challenge for HR to strike the balance. No, that's why as HR, we lead from the middle. What does it mean? It's totally difficult, no, because if you're talking about leading from the middle, that means that you have to be able to cater to those people under you, no, show them that you cared for them, but at the same time, do understand what are the objectives, business objectives of the organization. Okay? So having a people first and business aligned principle in HR, no, will help you win, no, for 2025. So this is a principle that is always something that we have to remember. Okay, so now, what are some examples of organizations, so particularly these are global organizations that have actually applied this particular principle? Ayan, okay. Take a look at this example companies, no, na makikita natin. And when I was trying to research for this particular companies, no, example companies, no, makikita natin talaga that these are really very good initiatives. Makikita natin number one, no, yung for Marriott International, it's a hotel, no. So meron silang happy, healthy hotel employees, no, that they really put in people first, no, yung kanilang well-being, sabi nga natin, no. Another example that I found to be very interesting, no, was the one from Google. Because for Google, meron silang principle that they allow their employees, no, a certain time, not doing the actual work, no, but allowing themselves to talk about innovation. Okay? So that means, for example, na they can think about other projects, no, they're given time. So kumbaga, traditional companies kasi would tell us na, oh, huwag mo munang gawin yan because it's not part of your job description, for example. But for them, no, it is something that they allow employees to actually create innovation. Okay? So they really walk their talk because they focus on people, no, providing initiatives, no, providing ideas, no. And it's almost similar, no, because one company that I remember very, I always try to use this in my training programs, no, yung 3M, no, because if you're familiar with 3M, the company that produced, no, yung post-it notes, no. So kung titingnan natin, that particular company really highlighted yung idea ng isang non-managerial employee. Hindi siya, he was just a typical employee, but more or less, no, he went forward, went ahead and say, this is the idea that I have, no? And as they say, it's already history that that particular product, which is the Post-it note, no, became very remarkable. No? It's already part of history. Ayan. So another example, yung sa Zappos. No? So again, they talk about culture most of the time, and people have to participate in culture. Remember, when you talk about culture, one of the misconception in organizations is that culture is driven by HR. I beg to disagree. Okay? Bakit ko sinasabing culture is driven by HR? Because when you talk about culture, these are influenced by top leaders, no? Managers at the top, leaders at the top. Now, that's why modeling the example of leaders really builds culture, no? So, HR in this case, no, usually our participation in culture building, no, comes in the form of policies, relationships, no, and yung contribution natin to sa strategies ng company. That's how we can actually contribute to the culture of the organization. Okay, building good relationships, setting sound policies for the company. So those are things, no, that will allow us to be able to participate in culture building. Okay? And finally, number four, another example is in JetBlue Airways, no? Yung meron sila ng peer-to-peer recognition program. Anong ibig sabihin nito, no? So, in their case, no, yung recognition program na ginagawa nila, hindi siya top-down approach. Meaning, no, when they recognize, they also recognize kung sino yung nino-nominate nung peer level. So, most of the time kasi parang medyo awkward yung peer-to-peer recognition kasi isipin mo parang bakit ko ino-nominate yung another person, right? So in this case, they are a classic example kung paano ginagawa yung peer-to-peer recognition program. Okay? So those are again examples that you can take a look at, no? So in the internet, maraming references yan, but I encourage you to look at it, no? Look at it as a best practice and try to adapt it to your own organization. Okay? So that's the first, no? Principle. Okay. Second principle that I'd like to share with you, no, to win in HR for 2025, no, is to build cultures of trust. Okay? I've always mentioned this, that trust is the currency of the modern workplace, no? So HR must lead, no, by fostering environments where employees trust leadership, the processes of the company, and each other. Okay? So, sabi nga natin, what does it actually mean to build the trust in the company? Okay. So, let me offer to you the 5 elements, no? Paano ba natin mabibuild yung trust in the workplace? So, here are concrete strategies that you can try to implement in your respective organization. Let's try to break it down from 1 to 5. Okay? Starting off with, of course, yung very logical. Number 1 is open communication. No? Clear and honest communication is the first and most important ingredient, no, for creating a more human workplace based on trust and mutual respect. Okay? So, again, I like that particular definition of having open communication. Okay? Because remember, no, the more transparent we become to each other, okay, the more that we can try to collaborate. Okay? Kasi mahirap kapag we try to hide, no, things from each other, no, and that creates conflicts. No? So conflict, if not handled properly, can actually lead to a damaging relationship. Pero on the other side, conflict, if handled very well, no, if treated positively, could actually steer or at least provide, no, some kind of collaboration with other people. Okay, so I remember that I had people when I was working before that I did not necessarily agree with 100%. No, but one thing I've learned over the years, no, in terms of practicing HR, no, is that you can always learn something from a person that you disagree with. Okay? Let me repeat that. No? You can learn something from a person that you have disagreed with. No? If only you will try to reflect on ano ba yung perspective niya, for example. Okay? So, it's a very important lesson that I have learned. No? Because not all people that that you deal with, you will agree. Okay? Especially if you no, you use your own thinking process, no? Minsan kapag nag-iisip ka, pwede ka mag-disagree dun sa sinasabi niya. Pero no, when you disagree with that person, no, because of open communication, you can actually disagree properly with that person. Okay? Yeah. So that's part of open communication. No? So sabi dito, open communication requires building environment that encourages an exchange of dialogue and ideas. No, I like the word exchange. No, because communication is basically exchanging no ideas to another person. Okay, so again, that's one way no or one element to build no trust in the workplace. Okay, second element is to build no connected to open communication is to build a learning organization. No, yung term na learning organization matagal na yan ano in the 1990s sinasabi na yan no na when I say talking about building a learning organization, sabi dito, when a mistake is framed as a failure, employees are more likely to hide them and learn from them. Okay? Hidden mistakes increase mistrust. Hinighlight ko yan. No, bakit? Because most of the time, if people are afraid of making mistakes, no, and they are not coming forward, okay, they feel, for example, that their failure, no, is the dead end for them, no. But if an organization creates, a learning organization, dapat yung failure niya is something that could spark something better for that person. Okay? Sabi nga nila, do not be afraid to be able to commit a mistake. No? And that's something na kailangan ipakita rin ng management na if a person failed, for example, no, meron dapat mechanism yung company to be able to rectify that person no? And to be able to encourage that person. Okay? Kasi minsan ang nangyayari sa atin is if we feel for that person, if that person failed, no, parang nagkakaroon siya ng label or mark, no, which sometimes could be detrimental for an employee, especially kung nag-effort siya, no, nagbigay siya ng initiative, for example, pero hindi siya tinanggap properly. Okay? So, again, building a learning organization is something that management would really benefit from. Okay? So again, part of building trust in the workplace is realizing that nobody is perfect, no? And we can all learn from our mistakes, no? Can you type yes if you agree with this particular quotation that I say? Na nobody is perfect and we can all learn from our mistakes. Ayan. Type yes if you agree. Ayan. Okay. Mukhang marami nag-agree. Okay. Looking at the ano. There. Okay. So that's the second element of building trust in the workplace, no? Yeah. Third is to demonstrate confidence in others, no? Um, Nowadays, no, people who are called micromanagers, no, tends to be parang, parang nagiging obsolete pag micromanager ka, no? Because micromanaging employees will stifle creativity and productivity, no? Encourages action only when specifically directed. So yun yung micromanaging. So imagine mo, no? Parang kumbaga, sinasakal mo yung employee by letting that person know na dapat ganito lang yung gawin mo, for example. This is the only way that you should do it. Okay? When you do that, you're not actually demonstrating confidence in others, no? Because when you allow people, no, to be able to present to you, no, a process, no, or we can change a particular step, for example, no, you're actually giving confidence to that person na kaya niyang gawin yon, for example. And usually as a manager, no, if you allow that person to commit a mistake, no, ang kailangan mo lang gawin is to provide the support for that person. Kunyari, no, meron siyang ginawang isang project or idea, no, give that person that vote of confidence, and then allow that person, no, to do it his or her way, no, and then eventually, kapag nagkamali siya, then just allow the person to feel that somebody is at his back. Okay? Yan yung purpose ng coaching. So when you coach a person, usually, no, you allow the person to make their own decisions. Okay? You cannot make decisions for that other person. Okay? Para lang hindi siya magkamali. no? So we always have to learn, no, from our own actions, no? Yung consequences, sabi nga natin. Okay, so again, we have to believe in our team, no, if we will try to build trust in the workplace. Okay? So kailangan tayo yung maniwala dun sa ating mga team members. Okay? Ayan. So that's the third, no? The fourth principle or fourth element, no, in building trust in the workplace is to develop your EQ, no? And when you talk about developing our EQ, no, again, there's a separate session, no? If you have been following us for the past 6 years, no, one of our signature program is actually emotional intelligence. So that's why, again, no, this year we're going to again run some EQ programs as well, no? But when you talk about emotional intelligence, no, there are two sides, no, particularly in terms of emotional intelligence, particularly yung personal competencies involving the awareness and management of our emotions. Okay? And second part is yung social competencies, which is very important in the management of others' emotions. No? So usually, leaders have been found out, no, na the more effective leaders have been found out to have high or at least yung kanilang emotional intelligence kasi meron tinatawag na score, yung emotional intelligence or yung EQ. Kaya siya tinawag na emotional quotient. Okay? And for some high performers, nakita sa kanila that some of them or most of them, no, have this particular social competencies, okay, na very important, no? So again, if you're curious about that, I encourage you to register again for our February 26 run, no, kasi magdi-discuss kami ng role of EQ in change management. Okay, so that's also free, no, if you'd want to again register and attend that particular free webinar next month, February. Okay? So, that's again, developing your EQ. Ayan. So, emotions, again, have a direct impact on the trust levels in the workplace, sabi nga natin. Okay. So, let me just share this. No? I have a very quick video lang that I'd like to share with you, no? Talking about yung social competence, no? Which is important when it comes to yung ating building trust. Okay. So, just to share this particular video with you, no? Ayan. Okay, so we talk about here yung social uh, perceptiveness. So let's listen.
Okay, I think you might need to replay that, Ronnie. There's no sound. Let me try and replay. I think the audio was not on.
Diverse. You will spend much of your career working within teams, and each of your teammates have their own ways of communicating and being validated. You need to learn about others' feelings and emotions by picking up on information in their physical appearance, verbal, and nonverbal communication. So pay attention. Facial expressions, tone of voice, hand gestures, and body position or movement are a few examples of the ways people communicate without words. You may think that eye roll during a meeting is subtle, but somebody is picking up that you are dismissive of what is being said. You don't want to be that person. When you work in a team, how you interact with colleagues goes a long way towards success. If you're not aware of yourself, you won't be able to accept and accommodate differences. That could have a negative impact to the organization, particularly its reputation, both internally and externally. Learn to pick up the cues. Knowing who you're talking to, how they think, and what they value will go a long way.
There. Okay. Okay. So again, no, I hope you were able to get or pick up some very good points there about developing yung ating social competence. So that's a very important skill, no, that leaders have to develop, yung kanilang social perceptiveness, no. Sabi nga natin, pagdating dun sa communication natin, yung facial expression, body gestures, no, yung tone of voice natin, no, nakakatulong siya in terms of building the trust, no. And finally, no, the fifth element of building trust in the workplace is to be consistent, no. Uncertainty isn't ideal for producing our best work or dealing with customers in an efficient and engaging manner. It's important for us, no, para ma-build natin yung trust natin sa workplace natin, na maging consistent tayo, no? Ibig sabihin yan, when you say you're going to do something, no, you have to do it, no? Make sure that maipakita natin that we are of integrity. So ibig sabihin, para ma-build natin yung trust, we must consistently demonstrate honesty and integrity in our speech and actions. Okay? So sabi nga natin, people with integrity, no, usually they're able to draw or at least to get trust from their team members, no? So ibig sabihin, yung integrity natin, no, is based on what we say, what we think, no, what we act or how we do it, and what we feel and what we believe in. Okay? So pag yun ay integrated, no, ibig sabihin parang hindi iba-iba yung nakikita nila sa tao, sa inyo, for example. Okay? You're able to build the trust, no? Kasi kunyari, pag sinabi mo na ito yung gagawin mo, no, you don't do another thing. So, kasi remember, a person with integrity, no, integrity means one. Okay? So that means, kung ano yung pinapakita niya with one person, that's also the other face that they present to other people. Okay? So that's a person with integrity. So a person with integrity is consistent, and hence, when we're consistent, we're able to build trust. Okay? So that's, again, the five, no, elements to build trust in the workplace. Okay, now, the next principle, no, we're in our third principle of how to win in HR. Okay, the third principle is an important principle that I'd like you to take note, no? We have to redefine leadership, okay? Yung traditional na top-down leadership model natin is already obsolete, okay? HR needs to champion leaders who empower, who enable, who listen, and create opportunities to succeed. So, anong ibig sabihin nun para sa atin sa HR? So, remember, yung traditional leadership is not anymore effective, no? Bakit? Because three characteristics right now affecting leadership. Ano yung three things, no? Number one, no? Nag-accelerate yung business and technology, no? Mabilis yung business environment and technology is moving faster, no, than we can actually adapt to. Okay, so that's number one. Second, there's a scarcity of resources given to us. Okay, that's why kailangan as a leader, alam natin kung paano i-handle yung mga resources natin. Hindi pwedeng tayo lang lagi ang merong hand dun sa resource na meron tayo. Kailangan marunong tayong mag-give and take of the resources. Okay? And third, affecting leadership is the shifting work models. No? Nowadays, kung titingnan natin, there's always a battle between work from home, hybrid, face-to-face, etc. So, because of the exit from pandemic, makikita natin, nag-shift yung work models natin. Nagbago yung ating working rhythm, sabi nga natin. So, these are all affecting leadership. Okay? So, that's why kailangan alam natin na we need to be able to learn how to lead better. Okay. Let me share this thing with you. No? So, since we're talking about redefining leadership, let me offer to you two particular theories, no, that were very prevalent in previous years, no. Ibig sabihin in that era, sabi nga natin. One particular theory is yung great man theory. Ano yung great man theory? Sabi dito, leaders, according to the theory, were born to lead, and only the elite, the wealthy aristocrats, and mostly men were suitable to be leaders. Okay? So, yun yung great man theory. No? That's why, if you notice, a lot of the prominent leaders in the past were men. Okay? But now, no, from 2020 onwards, for example, no, women leaders are actually rising. No? And merong particular study I was reading earlier, no, na nagpapakita sa atin that no, to a certain extent, women leaders are far more effective. Okay? So, again, no, it is not supposed to create a debate whether sino yung mas magaling na leader, lalaki ba or babae, no? The only realization that we have right now, no? And ako, no, in my own experience, no, I realized na some of the most effective leaders, no? Because I remember, okay, ito very, very clear. Most of my HR managers, yung mga naging boss ko, for example, were women leaders. Okay? And for a fact, no, I owe to them why I became also a leader. Okay? So that's a particular proof, no? Disproving itong great man theory. Okay? The second theory, yung trait theory. People believe that only those who inherently possess certain traits such as eloquence and confidence can become effective leaders. No? So kumbaga parang sabi nga nila, leaders are born. No? So sabi nga natin, we have to believe that leadership can be learned and you can become a leader. Okay? So you have to convince yourself that you are a leader. Okay? Not just because of the title that you have, but because of that particular quality. No? So now, if we want to redefine leadership, no, kailangan i-define natin ano ba yung mga behaviors of good leader. Okay? So ito yung mga list of things that we have to remember to define what good leadership is all about. Okay. Of course, I've mentioned this earlier in the previous principle. So top of the list still is emotional intelligence and empathy. Okay? So we have to learn how to manage our emotions and to be empathetic to another person. Okay? Second, behavior, adaptability, and resilience. Okay? So kailangan kapag nagkakamali tayo, mabilis tayong makapag-recover from our mistakes. No? It shouldn't bog us down. So that's part of leadership. Number 3, collaboration and inclusivity. Okay? So kailangan ang leaders natin marunong makipag-collaborate with other people, no? And tries to include people, no? Kasi minsan, 'di ba, parang as a leader, syempre pag if you want to do things fast, no? You turn to you turn to your members that are basically parang already good performers, no? So, pag sinabi nating inclusive ka, no? You also try to cater to people na probably hindi pa siya ganun kagaling, no? And as a leader, gusto mo siyang ma-encourage to be able to realize yung kanyang strengths and weaknesses. Okay? So kailangan ma-unleash natin yung kanyang potential as a person. And that's part of leadership, no? So leadership is looking at the potential of the other person, no? Sabi natin, pag sinabi nating potential, hindi pa niya nagagawa pero naniniwala kayo na kaya niyang gawin. Okay? So that's part of inclusivity. Number 4 is of course visionary thinking. Kapag naging leader tayo, no, dahil tayo yung nabibigay sa atin yung ating task to be able to lead, no, kailangan natin ng vision. No? When I say vision, dapat as a leader, alam natin kung in 6 months time, in 1 year's time, ano na yung dapat mangyayari dun sa aking team, dun sa aking department, dun sa aking project, right? So you have to have that visionary thinking. Dapat nag-iisip ka, ano yung pwedeng mangyari? No? Ano yung end in mind, sabi nga natin. So that's part of good leadership. No? And finally, another behavior of a good leader is ethics and responsibility. No? Dapat ang isang leader, hindi siya tumatakas sa responsibilidad. At the same time, dapat meron siyang proper ethics. No? Na dapat alam niya kung ano yung mga bawal or hindi dapat ginagawa. Kasama yan sa leadership. Okay? So again, hopefully itong mga behaviors of a good leader is something that you can share, no, with your other leaders in your organization, in your company. Okay? Ayan. We go now to the fourth principle. Ayan. Okay. So, fourth principle to win in HR in 2025 is to create or to provide data-informed decision making. So in 2025, if you are to win, it requires that you become data-informed and not just data-driven. Remember, numbers alone don't tell the whole story. They need to be paired with the context, yung intuition, and ethics. Okay, so let me share this with you. No? How do we make a data-driven decision? Okay, so here are some steps that we can try to look into. Okay. First, dapat alamin mo muna ano ba yung vision mo, no? Ano ba yung gusto mong marating, particularly, let's say, for your own team or department, no? And part of creating and making data-driven decision is to try to find ano yung mga data sources that you have. Okay? So, kailangan i-organize mo muna yung sources ng data mo. Saan mo ba siya nakukuha? For example, if you'd want to come up with a decision which is data-driven, kailangan kuhanin mo yung sources of data and organize your data. Okay? When I say organize the data, dapat alam mong mag-categorize of anong klaseng data to. Okay? So again, when you talk about organizing the data, kasama dyan yung understanding which particular data, no, is causing a particular information to come in. No? And after that, after you have organized the data, you perform yung data analysis na tinatawag. No? Using right now, there are softwares and technology na pwedeng gamitin natin to perform some data analysis. Okay? Diba, remember, nowadays, it's important to learn about data management. No? Even HR tayo, kailangan alam na rin natin paano mag-perform ng mga data analysis. No? And from there, draw some conclusions kung anong pwede natin gawin. Okay? So this is basically a process kung ano yung pwede natin gawin when it comes to making data-driven decision. So here are some examples of KPI, no, from data-driven decision na pwede natin gawin. No? On top of the list would be revenue growth. For example, in a company, no, this KPI will measure the impact of data-driven decision on the company's bottom line. No? Again, it quantifies the financial gains, no, such as data-driven marketing campaigns and data-informed pricing strategies. Okay? So, usually para ma-generate ang revenue, nakikita natin na merong mga data, no, to come up with a decision. Okay? Another KPI could be operational efficiency. No? This KPI will assess process improvement resulting from data-driven insights. No? This may include metrics like reduced cycle time, no, increased output per employee, tracking production, downtime, reductions through predictive maintenance. No? So, yung operational efficiency, kung titingnan natin, it's a very good KPI, no, na pwede natin gamitin for data-driven decision. Another one, the KPI na pwede natin gawin sa data-driven decision, customer satisfaction. No? That this KPI will measure how data-driven strategies affect customer experience and loyalty. No? Kasama dito, for example, metrics such as NPS or Net Promoter Score na pwede nyo gamitin for employee engagement. No? Retention rates of our employees, customer lifetime value, no? Yung bang mga customer natin, gano'n nakatagal sa atin? It tracks the impact of using customer data for product development and personalized experience. No? That's why, di ba yung customer satisfaction na nga natin, sabi natin, kapag ang company, no, nagbigay siya ng specialized experience for a loyal customer, napapawaw yung customers natin. So that's all because of data-driven decision. Okay? Another example of KPI from data-driven decision quality and speed. No? This KPI will focus on enhancing your decision-making process. You know, it measures improvements in decision speed and quality by comparing, no, the outcome of choices na ginagawa natin. Okay? So again, all of these are example of KPI from data-driven decision. Now, ano yung benefits natin for the data-driven decision? Here are some of the very obvious benefits kapag yung ating mga decision-making is data-driven. Number one, of course, we make confident decisions based on data. Second, we also guard ourselves against a lot of biases that can happen to us. Third benefit could be we find unresolved questions, no, based on our decision. Kasi sabi nga natin, when we solve a particular problem and make a decision, that particular decision will bring about more, a new problem, sabi nga natin. So, kumaga parang cycle nga lang siya. Okay? Another benefit of data-driven decision is you're able to set measurable goals. Okay? And probably, finally, another benefit of a data-driven decision is you're improving your company processes. Okay? So, yun yung mga nabe-benefit natin if we are able to make data-driven decisions for our company. So, as HR, kailangan gamitin natin yung data natin, whether quantitative data or qualitative data. Okay? So, more of this, no? In our March webinar, this coming first quarter, no? Abangan din natin yan because meron tayong webinar about KPI and metrics that we have given to you also. It's a free webinar as well. So, if you're likely to attend, please do register this coming March. Right. Okay. Next, we're moving further closer. No, so we still have 4 more to go. No, so the fifth principle that we have to do, to do, no, is to embrace yung tinatawag nating generative AI with humanity. No, so again, the realization that we have right now, AI or artificial intelligence is here to stay, and it will shape the future of work, no, in unprecedented ways. No, in this case, HR must take the lead in using AI responsibly. Again, not to replace humans, but to empower and to enable them. That's the purpose of technology. Okay? Ayan. Now, ano nga ba yung generative AI? Just for your information. No? So, yung generative AI is a subset of AI that primarily focuses on content creation, data analysis, and generating programming coding that mimics human-like creativity and outputs. Okay? Now, yung traditional AI mainly analyzes, processes existing data to make evidence-based decisions. No? Yung generative AI, on the other hand naman, produces, no, new content through learning patterns and structures obtained from a large data sets. No? So itong mga data sets na to could include text, images, videos, music, and more. No? So that's the traditional AI. No? So kung titingnan natin, parang kumbaga, it's an exciting. Dapat as HR, huwag tayong matakot sa AI, kundi maging excited tayo about AI. Now, what are 4 areas that will affect HR through artificial intelligence? Here are the 4 areas. Number 1, content. No? Yung mga HR professionals can use generative AI to increase efficiency and value in the various employee life cycle. No? From creating job descriptions, no, writing personalized emails, no, to job candidates, and drafting policies and creating training content. Okay? So definitely, no, if you're in HR, no, in terms of content, dapat ginagamit mo na si AI. Okay? So that's one area that will be affected ng AI. Second, for data, yung generative AI tools can summarize and extract key insights from your data. For example, it can help HR analyze and aggregate performance ratings, salary data, and more. No? So para dun sa mga nag-a-analyze ng salary structure or tumitingin ng performance ratings ng employee natin, pwede natin gamitin ang generative AI. Okay? So that's the second area that will affect HR through artificial intelligence. No? Third area is communication. Using generative AI, HR can improve employee engagement, increase access to the HR knowledge base, and offer individualized learning, no, based on skill gaps. No? Ito, maganda to, no? Because you can use these chatbots to improve efficiency and individual employee growth and development experience. No? So I know this for a fact, no, because I know na paano nagde-develop ng employees, no? And kapag wala tayong technology, napakahirap kasi yung ating engagement with our employees, no, yung ating communication kailangan mas enhance pa natin. Okay? So this is one area that will affect, no, through our AI. So that's the third area. Finally, number 4 is coding, no? So you can leverage also generative AI to compile various data sources and analyze large data sets for organizational analysis and planning. Examples can include the probability of attrition rates, identifying high potential employees, and pinpointing future skills gaps. No? So parang for me, no, as an HR professional, for the past few years already, this is a dream come true. No? Bakit? Because when you talk about this particular activities, for example, usually it entails a lot of data analysis, particularly using yung mga Microsoft Excel software. Kapag may AI ka, for example, it could actually make things easier for you. No? If I have not yet fully experienced this, but definitely I look forward for this to come. Okay? So this is something that we need to be able to learn. So if you're in HR, I suggest that you also try to learn, no? As much as I am also learning, no? So I am not yet an expert on this particular aspect, no? But definitely in few years time, no, makikita natin that more trainings will happen on artificial intelligence. Okay? So again, those are the 4 areas that you need to look out for pagdating sa HR through artificial intelligence. Okay? 6th principle, this time, is equity as a standard and not a goal. Okay? Nowadays, very matunog yung word na DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Ano nga ba to? Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, when you talk about diversity, diversity is the presence and participation of individuals with varying backgrounds and perspective. No? And this is very true, no, for developed countries, no? Napaka-importante sa kanila ng diversity principle. Okay? Second, equity, no? Equal access to opportunities and fair and just impartial treatment. So that's equity, no? Third is inclusion, a sense of belonging in an environment where all are feel welcome, accepted, and respected. Now, how do you implement DEI in your company? Here are some suggestions. Okay. Number 1, your organization can achieve workplace diversity by employing people from various backgrounds based on the following factors. So that's 1. Okay? Pagdating sa mga recruitment activities natin, try to be embrace diversity pag nag-uusapan natin dito. And makikita na natin to, no? In some organizations, particularly Filipino companies, they're trying to be more diverse in terms of their hiring practices. Okay? So that's what you can do to implement that in your company. Second, in terms of equity, this would mean, or this will require treating all your employees fairly and justly, regardless of their background, no? Ensuring equal opportunities for growth, development, and success. Okay? So that's what you mean by equity. Inclusion naman, ibig sabihin nito, it goes beyond diversity, no? And it refers to the employee's workplace experience, no? This would mean that you create an environment where all employees would feel valued, respected, and fully integrated in your operations. Okay? So kailangan meron tayo ng presence ng DEI in your company. So again, diversity, equity, and inclusion is one of the winning principles in HR for 2025. Number 7 principle this time is to make well-being non-negotiable. Okay? Sabi nila that burnout, no, used to be a people problem, no? But now, it has become a business problem, no? HR must move beyond offering wellness, perks, and create a system that will genuinely project mental, physical, and emotional well-being. So, pag pinag-usapan natin ng well-being, kailangan tingnan natin yung the mental aspect, the physical aspect, as well as the emotional aspect of the person. Okay? So, ano nga ba yung, pag sinabi natin well-being, ano nga ba to? So, well-being, no, is a new term, no, pero technically, it is related to job satisfaction. No, it is a term that refers to the different aspects of working life, no, and how someone feels about their job or safety of their work environment. No? So technically, everything is connected to job satisfaction. Okay? Now, ano yung 7 aspects na pwede natin makonsider pagdating sa well-being at work? No? Ito yan. No? It includes yung health. No? That's why, ano yung mga health benefits na pwede natin ibigay sa ating employees? Yung ating work environment, no? Yung physical as well as the psychological work environment. Okay? Another is, of course, yung ethical standards na ini-implement natin sa company, no? Yung socialization, nagkakaroon ba tayo ng mga activities for socialization, no, to have well-being dun sa ating trabaho? Another could be development opportunities, no? Meron ba tayong opportunity for promotion na pwedeng ibinibigay kay employee, no? As well as yung lifestyle natin, yung ano yung things na pwede nating ginagawa, no? Activities, food, for example, gathering, for example, that we do for our employees, no? And finally, also, of course, is compensation. Okay? That's why ako naniniwala ako that, the work that we do, no, especially for Talent Reach, is to help organizations or companies, no, create more competitive and equitable compensation. That's what we do for our clients. Okay? That's why itong 7 aspects na to, kailangan tingnan natin kung meron ba tayo nito sa company. Okay? Tinitingnan ba natin ito? Okay? Ayan. Okay, last two. No? Last two principles that I'd like to share with you as we try to wrap up yung ating 9 principles that I'm sharing with you. No? The 8th principle here is yung term na agile is the new normal. No? Now, agile HR is an approach to human resources grounded on the principles of agile development. No? It seeks to make the business process and HR services of a company more dynamic and reactive to market changes. So, saan ba nanggaling yung agile HR? Okay. Yung agile HR, kung titingnan natin, originally stems from yung tinatawag nating agile development, no? This was a software development that emphasizes before yung iterative and increment delivery, no, and cross-functional collaboration. This became very popular in the late 1990s as an alternative to traditional approaches to software development, no? Again, which were often criticized for being too slow and being inflexible. Okay? So, yan ang Agile HR kung titingnan natin. So, it's something that we need to embrace, no? And hopefully, no, for this year, I hope that we should be able to offer, if we can, no, a particular webinar about Agile HR, no? So, watch out for that, no, for this year. Hopefully, no, if not from Talent Teaching Speaker, we will try to invite somebody who will talk about Agile HR, okay? Because it's a winning principle that we need to be able to learn from. Okay? Ayan. And again, finally, in this case, no, we talk about purpose over profits, no? Employees want to work for organizations that have a soul, sabi nga natin. No? HR will win when we help our employees articulate a clear purpose that resonates with employees and aligns with business performance, no? Ayan. I like this particular book. No, I always recommend it to my students who attend my HR classes. Ano ba yung nagmo-motivate kay employees, no? Based on the book of Daniel Pink, no? So si Daniel Pink wrote this particular book. It's called Drive, no? And sinabi na dito to motivate employees to work beyond the basic tasks, kailangan meron tayong fino-focus na 3 bagay, no? First is autonomy, no? Second is mastery, and third is purpose. Okay? So again, all of this is what motivates employee. And if you'd like to read more about this, I suggest that you read the book of Daniel Pink. Again, the title of the book is Drive. Ayan. So it's available in local bookstores. Yeah. Finally, no, as I wrap up my talk for this afternoon, let me leave the last principle of continuous learning. No? So again, the world of work, no, is evolving daily. No? HR must foster a culture of learning where employees are equipped to adapt to new challenges and opportunities. So, anong ibig sabihin ba ng continuous learning? No? Kasi laging ginagamit natin yan in our discussion, in our seminars, for example. Pero ano bang ibig sabihin nito? So, continuous learning is a process of regularly expanding our skills and our knowledge. No? It can be done by taking online classes, listening to podcasts, or shadowing colleagues at work. Okay? Now, there are 3 types of employee learning needs na pwede nating i-categorize pagdating sa continuous learning. Meron tayong tinatawag na immediate learning needs, no? And these are tools and resources na kinakailangan na ng employee in their current roles, in their present moment. So that's what we call immediate learning needs, no? The second type of employee learning needs is intermediate. So these are needs wherein resources need to learn new skills to grow in their current roles while contributing more to business productivity. And the third type of employee learning needs is transitional. Transitional are learning needs that are resources given to employees to meet the long-term goals of the company and, of course, prepare them for a new role. Yung transitional, usually kapag nakikita ng company na pwede kang ma-promote, no, binibigyan ka ng mga learning resources for you. Okay? So those are the three types of employee learning needs that we can try to look into. And of course, there are three learning formats na pwede nating gamitin. There are what we call formal learning, wherein it is involving an instructor delivering a structured lesson in a classroom or a virtual environment. Okay? There's also what we call social learning, wherein employees learn on-the-job skills through observation or social interaction. Pwedeng peer-to-peer or mentorships or job shadowing. Kasama yun sa social learning. Okay? And of course, the third type of learning format is self-directed learning, wherein ang ginagawa natin dito is we try to seek out knowledge on our own. No? This could include listening to podcasts, watching yung mga TED Talks, or reading articles. Ayan. So, these are all self-directed learning na tinatawag natin. So, those are three types of learning formats na pwede natin gamitin so that we can try to continuously learn. Okay? So, as HR professional, hindi tayo natatapos dun sa alam na natin. Kailangan tayo constantly natututo tayo. Okay? So, that's the 10th principle in terms of what are we supposed to do to win in HR this 2025? No? So as I wrap up my talk for this afternoon for you, no? So it is my prayer that we win in HR this 2025. So I hope yung 10 principles that I've shared with you did not just inform you but also have inspired you to be able to win in HR for this 2025. Okay? So with that, I conclude my talk for this afternoon, and we're now ready to accommodate some questions, comments, or insights.
All right. Thank you everyone for those who are still here. Actually, halos kompleto pa tayo. Maraming salamat po for staying. Okay, so now we're opening the room for questions, no? So from the discussion, from the topics, you're welcome to put in your question. So does it necessarily have to be from the topic kung meron kayong HR question? Or kung may inquiries kayo about training, we're also welcoming that, no? Meron kayong current issues that you would like to ask us about our opinion on, okay? Validate or invalidate. Yeah. You can type that in on the chat box. Pwede niyo pong i-direct yung question sa akin if you would like it to be private, and I won't say kung sino po yung nagtatanong, if that's what you prefer. Yan. Our speaker is a full-time consultant. So, meron po kaming mga consulting clients where we actually help them with certain projects, no? Apart from compensation, we also help them with performance management. Ayan. Setting of KPIs, even setting up HR, no, for startup companies. Yan. So if you have some questions, yan, especially the trends, yan. Ito, we have our first question. Thank you, Valerie. Oh, sorry. Direct pala. Okay. Yan. So what is your advice to HR in a global organization? How will HR ensure HR compliance? So I think yung organization is, I guess, it's a global organization. Okay, sige. Thank you again for this question. So So for those who are still thinking about their question, pwedeng hindi naman question, no? It could also be a comment, a feedback, or a suggestion. Yan.
Mm.
And there's
Okay.
also yung first question, Ronnie, is what is your advice to HR in a global
Okay.
organization? How will you ensure HR compliance?
Okay. When you talk about, well, probably no, yung if it's a global organization, there's sabi nga natin no, there's that mix no, depende sa characteristics ng organization. But definitely the principle of HR naman still remains the same, no? Remember, no, the three essentials for the practice of HR is to attract, no, to maintain or to retain people and to develop them, no? So these three things, no, never goes out of fashion. No? Ibig sabihin, kahit na marami ng changes sa HR, no, the basic HR principle still relies on hiring practices, for example. No? Kailangan meron tayong mga principles that we follow, for example, which I've discussed earlier about yung principles of diversity, inclusion, and equity. No? When it comes to maintaining people, we need to be able to listen to them, no, promote no good management practices, inspire no yung positive working culture sa company, no, na magkaroon ng positive, no, iwasan natin yung nagkakaroon ng mga toxic discussions and toxic relationships, no, na meron tayo, no. And again, no, in terms of developing people, no, allow people to be given performance feedback, no, na dapat marinig nila kung ano yung kanilang performance, okay, kung ano yung kanilang areas to improve, no? So that's an important principle in terms of developing them, no? Yeah. So those are, the things that I would advise you pagdating sa HR, no? If it's compliance, no?
Yun. Ayan. Next question is for small and young team. About 10 packs. Yung development opportunities, especially promotion, is hindi ko may present sa mga employees. Slow ang movement, and most of the time, ito ang reason for resignation. Any other best practice to retain those employees aside sa compensation?
Okay. This is a good question, ano? This is coming from one of our participant, no, which is
Yes.
okay,
Mark.
Mark. Okay. Um, if you notice pagdating sa employee development, kasi iba-iba yung sizes natin diyan, ano. So, when you talk about kasi nowadays ang tingin kasi ng current employees pagdating sa companies, for example, it's always about promotion, okay? But technically speaking, may mga tinatawag nating job experiences tayong pwedeng gawin for our employees where hindi kinakailangan mapopromote sila kagad. Okay? Meron tayong mga tinatawag nating internship. Pwede rin tayong magkaroon ng job rotation or job enrichment. Okay? So kapag dinadagdagan natin yung trabaho, hindi necessarily pinopromote natin sila. No? Remember, sabi nga natin, di ba? Kailangan, ang objective natin is magkaroon ng mastery yung employee. Okay? Before you reward the person, there should be an evidence of mastery. Okay? Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin, oh, sige, promote na kita pero wala akong nakitang performance mo, for example. No? In that case, kailangan lagyan natin ng long-term perspective kasi pag sinabi natin employee development, hindi naman yan kaagad-agad eh, no? That could actually mean na kailangan magstay yung employee for at least 1 or 2 years, for example, before siya magkaroon ng possible promotion. For example, kailangan niyang ipakita. Kasi remember pagdating sa appraisal, for example, the common norms appraisal, kailangan at least meron kang dalawang cycle ng appraisal na talagang maganda yung performance mo. No? Hindi pwedeng isang beses lang ang appraisal, promoted ka agad, for example. Bakit? Because posibleng tsamba lang yung ginawa ng employee, for example, no? Tapos pinomote mo. Yun pala, hindi na siya ready for the next position. So, again, there are different ways. No? We need to be able to analyze first yung ating organization before natin sabihin, ito ba yung pwede natin gawin? Okay? There are different employee development approaches na pwede natin gawin for our employees.
Okay, I hope you were able to somehow address your question. Okay, next question is here. As mentioned earlier, HR should embrace generative AI, would it be a problem po na maging dependent ang employees to AI? How are we going to address this?
Well, I guess, it's still a learning curve for all of us, no? Nobody has all the answers for this one. We're still learning. But I would say, no, sabi nga natin, kailangan gamitin natin siya, just like any technology, gamitin natin siya for some kind of benefit for our employees, for example. Because definitely, nowadays, iba na yung kind of working. Okay? Ibig sabihin, pag gumagawa ka ng before, mga memos, for example, no, kailangan talaga coming from your own uh, brain power, no? Pero ngayon, you can use yung technology, the computer, for example, to help you out, no? Siguro kailangan lang natin lagyan ng mga policies, no, and guidelines, no, para hindi siya na-abuse if ever. Okay? So that's something that management has to be able to find out kung ano yung mga guidelines na dapat pwede nating i-implement sa mga employees natin. So that should be part, no? Technically, no, pag tinignan natin yung code of discipline, for example, yung mga handbooks natin, dapat kasama na yan sa mga handbooks natin sa companies. Ayan.
Okay. Another question here about salary increases of employees, which has been a company practice in the HR role to impose on management, despite their rejection that the company cannot continue. How can we address this to the employees? So I guess she means yung parang mandatory increases. Tama ba ang aking understanding? About salary increases of employees
Okay.
in a company practice in the HR role to impose on management despite their
Okay.
rejection.
Let me answer. Ang hindi ko masyado naintindihan yung rejection. Pero okay, let me explain briefly lang, no? Ang salary increases sa company, no? Hindi siya mandatory. It is driven by the employer. Okay? Ang mandatory is kailangan minimum wage siya. Dapat hindi siya below minimum wage. Okay? So, pero yung pagbibigay ng increase kay employee, no? Depende sa company kung meron policy yung company, no? Sa pagbibigay ng increase, for example. But it is a valid reason kapag in-explain ng employer mo sa'yo na kaya hindi kita mabigyan ng increase kasi hindi nag-perform financially yung company. That's a valid excuse. Kasi remember, ang compensation is driven by the financial capacity of the company. Okay? So, yung mismong employer, no, should be able to decide, kaya ko bang magbigay ng increase to my employees? No? Remember, the obligation of any employer is to provide the salary. It is not an obligation to provide the increase. But it is a obligation na pasahurin ka ng employer mo. Okay? Kasi pag yun hindi niya ginagawa, pwede mo siyang kasuhan. Okay? Pero pag hindi ka niya binigyan ng increase, hindi yon pwedeng idole. Okay? Hindi mo siya pwedeng idole because it is a decision of the employer based on performance and the years of service of the employee.
All right. Okay. Next question. May idea po ba kayo kung paano mag-conduct ng salary benchmarking?
Yes, I have done that so many times.
Actually, there's
Yeah.
a tool, no,
Oo.
na nagamit
Yeah.
namin. It's a paid
Yeah.
tool. So normally, they get our services. That's part of when they enter into a collaboration of job
Yeah.
evaluation and designing salary structure. We use a tool for salary benchmarking. So if you're interested with that, ma'am, sir, you can actually send us an email, no? Diyan, ito po sa aking email address. I'm the one that's managing that email. Ayan. Okay, let's go to the next question. About employee attrition rates, especially for Gen Z employees, gaano po katagal ang average na pinaka-acceptable or considered normal tenure sa isang company?
Okay. I would say, no, in a decent way, kung titingnan natin, I think, no, the minimum tenure could be 1 year, for example. Pero, if you would say na merong significant achievement yung isang employee, no, on the average, dapat 2 years in the company. Okay? So, that's again, no, with the thought, for example, na you have practices of trying to assign the work, no? Conduct performance appraisal with that person to give feedback, no? Kasi ang appraisals nowadays, hindi na siya yung traditional na kailangan once a year lang, for example. Pwede naman siyang mangyari on the spot, for example, na tinatawag, no? Yung performance evaluation. Pero meron ka pa rin mga schedule, for example, no? And in that case, doon mo pwedeng masabi for that person if that person would like to stay, no? So I would always encourage employers to always try to conduct such feedback session. Kasi doon pa lang, pwede mo nang ma-prevent yung mga attrition. No? Kasi pag hindi kinakausap yung employee, hindi nabibigyan ng feedback, that further creates attrition. Kasi hindi siya nagkakaroon ng reason bakit hindi siya magtatagal sa employers niya. At the same time, kung hindi siya nakakapag-open up sa employer, whether sa HR or dun sa kanyang immediate superior, that could cause retention problems. Kaya nga sabi natin kanina, open communication is an element to building trust in the workplace. The more that your employees are trusting, no, usually people who trust their employers, nagsistay sila. Tama? No? Because they feel na meron naman mangyayari sa career ko eh. No? Hindi man in my own time, no? Ibig sabihin, nakikita niya merong mga evidences na merong mga promotion, merong mga salary increases, etc. Okay? Ngayon, I would say, no, for example, after, let's say, staying in a company for 2 years, no, at wala kang nakitang increases or promotion, for example, then you can decide, no, to look for another employer. Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you for those sending in their questions. No, medyo marami-rami. Thank you. Okay, for another question, how do you manage confidentiality and non-disclosure agreements in a company?
Okay. Well, again, no, that's part of yung employment process natin. Usually at the start of employment, HR is supposed to kasama siya sa contract. In some companies, nagbibigay sila ng parang additional documentation like an NDA, no? Na magsasign siya, no? So, that's how you try to manage it legally, for example, no? So, that means na you have to inform the employee na yung mga makukuha niyang information inside the company would be confidential. Okay? And in that manner, hindi niya pwedeng i-disclose yon to other parties without the prior authorization of the employer. Okay? So definitely, yung pag-leak mo ng information to other parties that are not within the company's authorization, that's illegal in that case. No? So kapag nangyayari yon, then the company can sanction the employee. Pwede siya i-discipline if ever.
Yan, okay. Next question. Basahin ko na lang directly. So, paano po i-convince ang bigger boss not to hire people who are related with each other? I work in this company for less than a year, pero I can see na because some people are family, hindi na maximize yung potential ng ibang tao at may compliance checks na di sila pumasa pero nilet go na lang kasi magkapatid or magpinsan sila.
Oh, okay. That's something very I would say I've handled companies before because I was a consultant. So I've had to handle companies which are traditional and usually family members are part of the employment, no? So I would advise HR to best effort na to, no? Minsan kasi depende if the employer or the boss, for example, is open to the new practices, for example. Kasi unfortunately, there's still employers na very traditional yung thinking nila. No? But for a fact, kung titingnan mo, pagdating sa legality of hiring relatives or family members, wala namang problema. Technically speaking, di ba, if I'm the employer, I can hire anyone. So remember, in terms of hiring, ang isang employer, meron siyang absolute right kung sino yung kanyang gustong i-hire. Okay? Now, of course, kung nire-recognize niya na professional yung HR, that means you have to set qualifications, no? So one way that you can try to convince your boss is sabihin mo, sir, mag-set tayo ng qualifications para doon sa mga positions na hinahire natin. Para kapag nag-hire tayo, meron tayong criteria na gagamitin natin para masabi na qualified ba yung tao. Ayun. So, you can start with that, no? Medyo mahaba yung journey na yan pag ganyan ang organization mo, I would say.
So, thank you very much. I'm actually reading your comments, your feedback. No? So maraming salamat for appreciating this session. We also thank you, for making time. I know this is a holiday, so maraming salamat for sparing your one and running almost and a half hours in joining us in this session. So we have another question here. If we're conducting company-based or competency-based interviewing techniques or training seminars. Yes, we do. So we actually have an upcoming program on that, Ronnie. Right? We do.
Yeah.
I think it's the yung sa nandun sa first
Mastering talent acquisition strategies.
Yes, it's part of that is competency. So please do watch out for the announcement. It's going to be happening. I believe that will be in March.
Yeah.
And so either late February or March. I will need to check on my calendar, on our calendar. But definitely we'll have an announcement when I announce it on our social media platform. So you'll find that on our Facebook, LinkedIn, and also I'll be sending in email invites. So if you're on our database, definitely makaka-receive kayo ng information. And also allow me to actually find, while I'll still have 37 people in the room. Justin, can you help me? Justin is our project assistant. Can you help me post yung QR code? So, if you're interested to know more about our programs, you can click or you can scan this QR, or you can click the link that you can find on the chat box, so that we can provide you more information about the training programs that we have, as well as the in-house or the paid free webinars, lahat ng programs namin, plus the training, in-house training programs. We can also provide you more details about the in-house training programs that you can just specify, if not all, you can at least enumerate yung top na or priorities for this year, so that we can help you. We can assess whether, and also make our own recommendation based on our assessment. So these programs that we've shared with you earlier, if you joined us earlier, it was actually designed by Ronnie, So over the years, so as you can see dun sa highlights namin, we've conducted those programs in different companies in different industries. So they're from retail, from manufacturing, from consumer and finance, from manpower services. Ayan. So those are the different clients. So we cater to different industries. So if you're from HR and you're looking for such programs, you're very much welcome. Ito po, scan nyo lang po ito, and then we'll reach out to you. We'll provide you with the more information there. And also, meron pong isang question lang doon. I do hope that you can find time to answer how you found our session for today. So maraming salamat po. Ayan. So maybe we can accommodate one more question since we're still 8 minutes away from 6:30. Ayan. 1 or 2 question. Ayan. So maraming salamat po dun sa mga nag-send ng inyong thank you messages. You're very much welcome, and we also thank you as well, especially dun sa mga repeat na audience namin who's always been joining us for the programs last year and since we started. So madami-dami din po sila, no? So, and also, I think we have also our clients who's, I hope they're still here in the room. So maraming salamat po for joining. Yan. So kung meron pa po kayong questions, again, please do click the link or scan the QR code, and we're just asking you yung pangalan at email address niyo po, and if you would like to receive information, and also just one question about how you found our session for today. Yan, may key lang po yan, don't worry. There. Okay, so I do hope that we can see you again or our next program. So there's going to be another one in February. So abangan niyo po yun. Make sure that you're following us on Facebook, on LinkedIn. You can subscribe also to our YouTube, no? Talent Reach, para maging madagdagan na po yung palaki pa lang na community sa YouTube. Ayan. So nandun din po yung video, and if you want to watch this again, I'll be actually posting that on our YouTube channel para you can also share this video or this session with your colleagues if they weren't able to make it. Ayan. So mas maganda po ma-share nyo yung mag-scan po kayo nitong QR code so that we can reach out to you and share with you the materials. And also, for those who have availed of the handout, and of course, it comes with an e-certificate of attendance, you'll be receiving that latest po is 3 business days. So, hopefully, I get to send that by Friday. No? But otherwise, you can expect it by not later than February 3. Yan. Okay. Thank you again, everyone. Maraming salamat po for staying. Yan. So, yung mga nandyan pa po, so I hope that you can grab nyo na po yung chance para makuha nyo yung early on yung information, no? Aming mga training programs, lalo na kung meron kayong training needs or training requirement, talaga pong binibigyan namin ng time to really assess and find out, no, kung meron pong program that we can actually help you with. We can also customize and design these programs. And at the same time po, if you're also looking for consultancy services, you know, that's also part of the service that we provide. We have consulting clients as well who also become either they start with as a consulting client, and then they also get our training program. So either way, kung ano po yung way namin para makatulong in supporting your development and your business goals sa company. And thank you for those who have expressed their interest to get a copy of our training programs, no? Maganda rin po doon mailagay nyo if you really have pwede nyo pong ilagay na din doon sa specific need nyo, no? Doon sa form para we can it's more specific. Yeah. So definitely, you will be hearing from us via email and sharing with you the information that you're interested in. So again, thank you very much. I think we can end early. So again, have a good night. Kung hay fat joy to everyone, and we hope to see you again soon. Stay safe, everyone. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
So for those who want to send me an email. Okay, bye-bye everyone.
Oh, good. Ano po ba kayo? Andiyan pa po ba kayo?
Ayan, nandito pa ako.
Yeah. Okay po. Kung hey Patchoy. Off mic ka po.
Ako magbababay na kasi magluto ako ng fried chicken.
Wow, sarap. Sarap, Patchoy.
I think we still have meron pa ba? Meron pa bang nasa room?
Wala na po.
Wala.
Nilagay ko lahat sa waiting room.
Nasa waiting room.
Okay. Sige. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you,
Maraming salamat.
Justin.
Send mo na lang yung recording, ha?
Oo nga pala ako
Okay.
nag-record. Sige po. Opo. Sige po.
Tapos kung may mga screenshots ka, share that
Hmm.
also.
Para
Ah,
pwede natin ilagay doon sa
ah.
Facebook page.
Yes, ayan. So I'm gonna go. Thank you again.
Sige
Thank you,
po.
Justin. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Justin.
Bye po. Thank you.
Bye-bye.